Sometimes chronic illness means that your nights are incredibly restless and your mornings come way too early. I woke up around 4 a.m. after a really rough night's sleep, and instead of fighting it, I decided to lean into what my body was asking for today. This morning, both my husband and I had fasting labs scheduled at LabCorp, so instead of letting it feel like just another medical errand, we decided to turn it into a little date morning. Sometimes those small little reframes, like getting coffee or breakfast together after blood work, makes all of the difference. One of the biggest lessons that I'm learning during this medical leave is to just stop making rigid plans for my days, even if they're pleasurable. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to watch a movie today, I'm going to do some self-care, and then I almost become oppositional and I no longer want to do that just because I made the plan. And if you experience chronic illnesses, you know that it is so easy to feel guilty when you cannot follow through with the plans, or worse, you push through and then you pay for it later. So instead of that, I'm practicing being really present in each moment and deciding the next thing based on how I'm actually feeling. It's been a really hard shift, but it's helping me find more peace and joy in the midst of everything. For example, the other day I accidentally sat and stared at the wall for 15 minutes, and it felt so good to have silence. Good morning, friends. Welcome back. It is about 10:30 on Wednesday. It's Wednesday. I have been up since 4 a.m. Unfortunately, just had a really difficult time falling asleep last night and sleeping throughout the night, and then I woke up for good around 3:40 or 4 o'clock this morning, and I had to go do fasting labs, which not eating is really challenging for me. I always struggle with dizziness, fatigue, lightheadedness, all of those things. So luckily I made it through. So today I am going to share a lot of medical updates, a lot of my test results, and what we're looking at for next steps, feeling some really good clarity on what's going on and what needs to happen next. So really excited to share that with you guys. I just changed out of the clothes that I was wearing and put on a robe so that I can relax for a little bit. Feel a nice hot fever coming on. So I'm going to chill, hang out with my cat, maybe do a little coloring, watch some TV, and see what I got in store for me for the rest of the day. So see you guys in a little bit. The other thing that I'm really focusing on is just slowing down, taking my time to do things, really trying to enjoy each activity that I'm doing throughout the day. I feel like with my chronic illness, I'm always trying to prevent something, or I'm reacting to something that I've done, and I'm trying desperately to get myself back to baseline. And it really results in me just rushing through everything, me trying to fit everything in, get everything done by a certain time or a certain duration of time. And it just creates so much stress within my day. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to generalize this back to when I start work again, because I do work about 50 hours per week, and there's a lot to fit into the day. There's supplements, there's pills, there's making sure that I'm hydrated, making sure that I'm taking breaks, making sure that I'm moving, getting some exercise, some subtle movement to keep the blood flowing through my body. It just feels so incredibly calculated, and I think that that is one of the biggest sources of burnout for myself, and I am sure that you can relate as you're listening to this. It is so much to manage. And then if you add appointments on top of that, or sending portal messages or emails to your doctor, or collecting data so that you have information to share at your next doctor's appointment, or you're getting ready to go to an infusion, or you've got MRIs scheduled, there's just so much going on all of the time. And so if anybody has any tips for how to keep it nice and slow, stay present, while navigating a full-time job plus another full-time job, which is your chronic illness. This is truly one of the best days that I have had in such a long time, and I really think that is because I set my day with intention from the very second that I woke up. It could have been really easy for me to be super frustrated about the lack of sleep that I got, or to really focus and hyper-focus on how I was feeling that morning and feeling the daunting feeling of how am I going to get through today? I'm going to tackle everything that I need to get done. And instead, I just focused on how I'm feeling in that moment. And I really tried to tell myself that it was going to be a good day. And I really believe that the simple act of me focusing more on what it is that I wanted to do in that moment allowed for me to be incredibly present throughout each of those moments and to feel really fulfilled. And honestly, I felt a lot of joy on this day. I felt like I was loving on myself, I was pampering myself, and I was doing everything that I wanted to do. One of the things that my husband shared with me during this time in helping me set intentions for this medical leave was to be selfish. And that's a really, really hard thing for me to do. I'm incredibly independent. I always think about others and I put others' needs before my own. And I think that's something that I really need to work on during this time period is filling my own cup so that it becomes easier to do the things that I love, which is caring for others and making sure that their cup is full. If any of this resonates with you, I hope that it encourages you to release the pressure of plans and give yourself the gift of presence. Your body deserves it, your mind deserves it, your soul deserves it. It is so important for you to put yourself first so that you can be the best human being for those that you love. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that you have such a relaxing weekend.